Good morning, good afternoon, Gunaratha Reddy, Vesh, Poonam, Raj, Nandini. Okay, it's 12 o'clock now. We'll start on time. I'm presuming the streaming is fine now that you all have confirmed that. Hi Nakul, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Shaurya, Vesh. Okay, if there are some glitches because of maybe bandwidth issues, you can refresh it. You can refresh and start off again. Hi Nakul, hello, good afternoon. Abhi, Shubham, Atul, fine. So today's session is definitely one of the important classes we talk about. हम इसको workshops बोलते हैं, but this is this is inclusive of your preparation. Today's workshop, we have a very specific theme. Oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm reading your name, that's why maybe Reddy. I'll call you Reddy then. He's upset I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Okay. North of India, something happens. South of India is a different pronunciation. Of course, there are dialects too. Okay, fine. Let's get started now. So today's session, we are discussing something about how the examination is far more deeper and what we can do. Okay. Now, I have with me my partner, Edukemy's partner, co-founder, Debadatta Tripathi with me. Some of you already met him and talked to him. Shubham, Abhi, are the others also facing some streaming problems, or is it just Shubham and Abhi? Deepak, it's fine. Navneet, all good. So beta, our local problem hoga Shubham then. Just refresh it, you should be fine thereafter. Yeah, thank you Srishti. It's fine. Yes, I believe it should be. Okay, so I said if there are some glitches that you are facing, you can just do a bit of refresh or reboot the system, switch on again, it should work. Okay, let me get started now. So I'm happy to have our partner with us, Debadatta Tripathi. He heads lot of things, including our technology, development, operations. He looks into issues related to even the development of learner's journey. Okay, so he has been working behind the scenes, and I welcome him here. He comes with a tremendous amount of experience from the corporate, having worked for more than 20 years in Accenture as one of the MDs there. I'm fortunate to have him partner and own the process at Edukemy. So one of the conversations I was having with Dev was about the students in general, kya padhte hain, kaise, and Dev has always been very active, exploring what to do new in education systems and the processes that we have, what can be. In fact, he'll talk about it more. That is where Edukemy as a company started. It was not simply about a course that we want to deliver. He'll talk about it. He'll tell you what was his vision there. So one of the conversations we were having, a very interesting thing he told me. He said, if he is comparing the work pressure and the work dynamics in the corporate world, after a certain level, mid-management mein ho, top management mein ho, all these corporate institutions, the big ones who really matter, who are working the process, they have sessions where they motivate the employees, put them in a process. They have counseling sessions for employees. They have got counseling sessions for the top management teams, the CXOs, the CTOs, the CEOs and CEOs and so on. And he said it's very surprising कि UPSC preparation इतना intense examination है. He says the kind of intensity, the kind of investment and UPSC aspirants puts in, it's nothing less than the pressure that they have in the corporate sector. A sales target hai, technology ke targets, and there's a crazy pressure out there. He said, guys, you guys are doing something probably as, if not more, as much of pressure you guys are facing, but surprisingly, this ecosystem does not have any program, any courses, any sessions where we can work on the mind thing, where you can work on counseling your process. आप लोग बस माइंडलेसली पढ़ाते हो और बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, नोट्स बना रहे हैं. It's impossible. Students are not facing those challenges. There are psychological issues. There are problems related to your motivation. There are problems related to your discipline sometimes. He says the problem है कि यार इतना and it's and economic wise also this is a very very big economy. ये बहुत बड़ा सेक्टर है. यूपीएससी से लिंक करके स्टेट सर्विसेज हैं, ये लिंक करके आरबीआई है, अभी ईपीएफओ का भी आने वाला है, टोल्ड जुलाई में है. यूपीएससी से लिंक करके यू हैव गॉट नबार्ड एग्जामिनेशंस होते हैं. यूपीएससी इज ए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडी फॉर दैट मैटर. ओके, एंड देयर इज नथिंग फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स एंड एस्पिरेंट्स to put them in the track regularly. So what are you doing? It's like, no, while you are feeding the brain, what is feeding the soul? While you are studying, okay, fine, but what is keeping you alive there? And lot of failures happen because the mindset does not build up in terms of the demands of the examination. Many of you are straight from colleges. Many of you have not seen the pressure of work life. You have not seen the pressures of corporate life. Okay, और आपको डाल दिया गया है बहुत हाई लेवल इंटेंसिटी एग्जामिनेशन में. तो इसका भी एक साइंस है. आई मीन ऐसी बात कर रहे थे हम लोग. सी आई मीन विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट टू ऑल ऑफ यू एंड आवर टैलेंट्स दैट वी हैव, द टैलेंट्स लाइक तेंदुलकर हैं, टैलेंट्स लाइक कोहलीज हैं, ओके, यू हैव गॉट ओलंपिक विनर्स, ओके, यू हैव गॉट वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बीटर्स, एंड दे आल्सो नीड काउंसलिंग सेशंस. They also need a psychologist. They also need a person to talk to. तो हमारे इस एग्जामिनेशन के अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो सिस्टम ही नहीं बना है. Okay, so the challenges you face is not so much about the study that you do. It's more about the mindset that you have. Okay, so I requested him, if this is the challenge, let's see what we can have and we can replicate some practices from the corporate sector. Okay, it is established culture वहाँ पर है कि हम every 2-3 months में there's a meet, there's a talk, there's a session, there's a training going on. So it's not simply किताब खोल के बैठ जाओ. And I'm sure you hear about lot of news about students committing suicide. It's such a colossal waste. It's such a big tragedy. Okay, that young children mid-20s में हो, late 20s में हो, आपने क्या ही दुनिया देखा है? What have you seen? And under the pressure that you have, okay, you are succumbing there. This examination is a good 1, 2, 3 years का process है. It's not simply course join करके आप qualify कर जाओगे. There's lot more to this. And people who qualify वो कुछ और कर रहे होते हैं, हमें पता नहीं होता है. Okay, so this is an integral part of your course. आप join करो ना करो. Okay, and lot of talks which are in the YouTube अच्छे हैं, ठीक है, but sometimes I think they are trivializing the process. Okay, examples कुछ भी दे देते हैं. I mean, it's like, you know, addiction program है where you are on high, okay, with some substances but not really concrete in terms of what's required. ठीक है, so this is very much a part of, okay, your grooming process. See this as a part of the curriculum itself. ये अलग नहीं है. It's like, you know, when a patient falls sick, along with medication, he needs physiotherapy. Along with physiotherapy, he needs lot of mental training also. You are talking about an examination that will suck all aspects of your personality and energy अगर आप properly अपने आप को groom नहीं कर पाते हो. ठीक है? So this is not apart from your preparation. It's very much part preparation. And there's more to this, of course. So Dev, thank you for coming in. Okay. Dev will lead this. I'll be here around discussing. We also have a very esteemed guest with us. We'll introduce you to him, okay, sometime later. Thanks for coming in, Sunny. Okay, we'll get him to talk to you guys. The reason why I'm doing all of this. ठीक है? So please be patient. हमारे साथ रहो and be interactive. It's not a lecture. हम ज्ञान नहीं दे रहे हैं आपको. It's an exercise based. कुछ conversations होंगे. ठीक है? Okay, sure, yeah. Happy to be there. Happy to be there for you. Yeah, Dev, you are on. This is one mic. You need to. Yeah, please. You can clip this within your. Yeah. The other one. this also you have to, other pocket.
I think this also goes. Okay.
Like an arm combat.
That's what I was saying to the guys, that I feel like Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible.
So
Right.
you're on.
Thank you, Shabir. That was. Am I audible, guys? Can you hear me online? Tell me yes. Okay. Awesome. So, yeah, this really feels like, the cowboy movies. Have you seen cowboy movies? Clint Eastwood? Old movies, but, you have guns in both pockets and something you're about to kind of take it up and shoot. So, without further ado, let me just move. I'm Deb. Shabir gave me a big introduction, so I'm not going to repeat that. Nitish is going to join me. Most of you know him. He designs our curriculum, and he is also one of our lead mentors. So he'll help me with the activities, and he'll participate. But more importantly, as Shabir said, this is not a motivational talk. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you about this is how you develop your personality, big statements, examples, stories. This is a little bit of what Shabir started with, is why we built Edukemy in the first place, why we felt passionate that this thing needs to be addressed. Because what happens is that a lot of the preparation cycle mein kya hota hai, you are given studies, right, and you take tests and more studies and more tests. That's what you've been doing, like day in and day out, like study chapters, take tests, take practice, synopsis likho, answer writing karo. So this is taking your preparation one way, right? But is that necessarily going to make you successful? So when we came together 3.5 years back, what really excited me about the project is, that we realized that this alone is not going to take students to the finish line. It's not going to take you over. So what is that is needed, that is apart from skill, that we need to insert, right? So loosely आप उसको motivation कह सकते हो, will कह सकते हो, mental prowess कह सकते हो, attitudes कह सकते हो, or you can say personality development. But क्या होता है generally that these two things are considered separate, right? Develop your skills in subjects in one side, and then somewhere along the line get a package or watch videos and get the mental prowess there. But the reality is that these two are not different at all. They have to go hand in hand, and we'll talk more about it. So this is not a motivation talk. You can find those on YouTube. There's plenty, right? Every day they come in your feeds and you'll watch them. This is not that. We will try to demystify it, all right? So we'll try to take and quantify this X factor and put some science behind it. So, we can progress in some objective way, right? So my job today, okay? My job is I will try to talk as less as possible. I'll engage you, we'll all talk. My job is to be the flashlight, right? To help guide you to find what's inside of you. That's what we need to develop. Okay, so we'll try to make sure that you take center stage. So what we'll do is three things primarily. Okay, we'll understand what's missing in your prep and what that magic connection is, that magic ingredient, which loosely we use these different words to describe, right? We said personality development, mental prowess, attitude, motivation, all of these fuzzy things, right? Everything else except for your subject, your syllabus is very fuzzy. In fact, the syllabus is also fuzzy, right? You agree? Show of hands. Who understands the syllabus completely? Like, I totally get it. I have it in my pocket. No? Very fuzzy, right? And the kind of questions, how many of you have done this L1, L2, L3 analysis that Shabir sir does? Some of you have done it. L3 level questions, very fuzzy, right? How do I even answer this question? I think the answer is that we need to understand the X factor. Then we'll know, see, and how many of you have used ChatGPT today? Or any other AI tool? Have you tried, like try opening it, give it a previous year question, and give you a fantastic response, which can give you, take you 60–70% there. But there's something missing in that. So we'll talk about what that is. And we have a systematic approach. So last 4 years, Edukemy has done a lot of research because we really want to make a difference in your life, right? We just don't want to give you a course and test series and make sure you do it and you do it and you do it and we monitor you and we get you there. So we really did some research. We spoke to hundreds of successful aspirants. There's been many blogs and videos that we have posted on that. We are going to come out with a book around that shortly. But what you're going to see is a culmination of that research. So I'm going to show you what exactly successful aspirants told us that they did effectively. So they did all the studies, right? So this is like, what is the hygiene and what's the X factor? So we'll know that, and then we'll reorient your thought process कि आप जब preparation कर रहे हो, how do you approach it now? I think all it needs is a different approach of preparation and not, here's the books, here's the syllabus, go read and develop your skills, okay? So my request to you is 2 things, participate, okay? So this, you have all taken a step to appear UPSC. What does that mean, right? How many of you have done the why exercise? There's a 3 whys exercise we typically do at the start of a project. Why are we doing this? And usually when you ask 3 whys, you get to the answer, real answer of why you're doing it. So just give me a second. My pistol in my right hand got dislocated. Okay. So. Very difficult. All right. So one thing is to participate. So the reason why I said the 3 whys exercise is the reason why you have, and you do this, and we'll cover this as part of what I'm going to talk about. But when you do the 3 whys exercise, you say why, okay, it's very aspirational. But why is it aspirational to you? What do you get out of it? Okay, sir, there is prestige, there is power, there is influence, but वो तो सबके लिए है, right? आपको क्या है? What is it in you that excites you about this career? And कहीं ना कहीं, this will be about some sort of leadership, right? Right? Some leadership, some nation building in it, some will to make a change in community and the nation. कुछ तो आपने देखा होगा जो आपको you would have felt really bad about it. I'm going to change it. If I had the power, मैं ये करता, right? So eventually, when you do the 3 whys exercise, you get to that. So a key tenet of a successful UPSC aspirant is to be able to communicate that, right? The why that person is after that career. And that also means that you have to express. So we all have different personalities, right? Some are introverts, some are extroverts, but we all need to have the power of expression. We express differently. Some express through the written words, some express through less number of words, some are very vocal, but we need to express. Okay, so I want you guys to express, and I'll prod, I'll wait, I'll give you the mic, and we'll talk. So don't be afraid, be bold, express yourself, participate, right? So that's the first one. The second request I have is follow through. I'm just being the flashlight, right? So I'm going to show you the way, but this requires follow through. Personality development is not a switch that you can say, Eureka, right? You get it next moment and everything is changed. It doesn't work like that. It works over a period of time. You have to work at it continuously, diligently, and there's only that much to be said about talent, right? अगर सब कुछ talent पे dependent होता तो हम लोग कुछ नहीं करते, right? Nobody would do anything or put any effort if everything was up to talent, right? तो आपको किसी ने बोला होगा अरे यार तेरे पास talent नहीं है, you can't crack UPSC, or you know, I don't have the engineering mindset, I can't do engineering, or I can't do MBA because it's not my gift, right? तो आपके पास, I think every one of us has that gift. We just need to figure out that you know, how to strengthen it, how to bring it forward. So I'll request you to follow through and participate and follow through. So okay, all right. So and I will you know, call on the you know, online time to time. I want you to capture your questions and ask me what you have doubts, and we'll pause and we'll clarify that and we'll move on. Okay. So I'm going to start by showing you some videos, and I said this is not a motivational talk, okay, but let us see this video, very short video. We have curated 3 videos, and then it will get you know, it will be fun. So let's first watch the video. I want you to see it, hear it, and then tell me. I'll ask you a few questions, and there's a reason why I'm showing these videos and not some other things, right? So let's roll the video and watch it for 10 minutes.
India is ready to dispatch its 12th consignment of humanitarian aid to Ukraine, consisting of 26 types of medicines, including hemostatic bandages meant to stem the bleeding of deep wounds in children and adults. This was a specific request by the Ukrainian side, and we have made sure that we will be reacting in the fastest possible time to meet this.
We will work with the international community and partner countries to mitigate the economic hardships that are resulting from this conflict. Obviously, our focus is to soften its impact on our own economy. But equally, there are partners who are going through very tough times.
This is not the first time the leader of Pakistan has misused platforms provided by the UN to propagate false and malicious propaganda against my country, and seeking in vain to divert the world's attention from the sad state of his country, where terrorists enjoy free pass while the lives of ordinary people, especially those belonging to the minority communities, are turned upside down.
Okay, so just leave that. Yeah, that's fine. So you, I need the comments. Ashish, I need the comments, online comments. Yeah, just give me a second, guys. Awesome. Yeah, so I know it was, some of it was not audible to the online, but you guys can absolutely see it. This is not our video, and you can go watch it on YouTube. But my question to you guys is, why did I show you that video? And what connection does it have with our topic here? Right? We should get to the topic, not just showing you some video randomly. But so we have some answers. Shaurya says, what an answer given by her. Our great IFS officers, Shweta says, great civil servants. But why? I mean, you guys can watch it. What's the connection to this class? Anybody care to respond? Yeah. Online? Okay, yeah, we covered Ruchira Kamboj, Jaishankar, and Sneha Dubey, right? You know all of them? Okay, so why did I show you this video? Come on, let's have some answers. I'm sure something is running in your mind, right? So why am I showing you this video? All 3 of them behaving as a critic. Okay, good. Represented India on international platforms. Yes. What's the connection to our topic here? That is the question. Star personality, yes. Strong personality, yes. Yes. Leadership, yes, very good. Thinking about others, fantastic, yes. Diplomacy, personality. What do we learn from them? What is that? What is it that, how can you connect this with our preparation? That's the question, right? Mindset, yes. Okay, getting there. You are going to represent next generation of Indians, yes.
It's a way of expression.
Way of expression, yes. So there's something these guys have, and I'm not saying that the moment you make IAS, you will be like a Jaishankar or Ruchira Kamboj or Sneha, right? There is obviously a point where, you know, a 16-year-old Tendulkar became the best batsman in the world, right? So there is a growth, but there is something minimum that you need to have when you make it. How many of you have heard fake it till you make it? Have you heard of this term? Okay, where did you hear it? Aspirants? Okay, yes, fake it till you make it, you know it. Do you believe it? Is it real? Sometimes you don't have to fake it, but what does faking do that helps you to make it? What does faking do? Yeah? Imitation, yes. So how does imitation help you get there? Yeah. आप लोगों के पास, every one of you has had a mentor since childhood, जिसको आपने देखा है, anyone that is 2-3 years older to you, or perhaps doing the cool things that you want to do. कुछ तो होगा ना, right? You must have seen. What did you do? You try to see what they do and repeat it. Sometimes you repeat when you are in a classroom, guru ke saath, right? Whether you are learning a musical instrument or learning geography, what do? You imitate. So fake it till you make it absolutely works all the time. So forget about, no sir, it doesn't work, sometime it works. All the time it works. You need to learn to imitate. एक Japanese में concept होता है shuhari. First you imitate without understanding, right? First you imitate without understanding, then the understanding becomes clear, and eventually you become the master. Your samurai masters, this is the concept they used to use. So okay, don't worry about the concept, just imitate what I do, right? Oh, I move like something like this, right? So I move, I watch the teacher and I move, and then I see, okay, in that movement something is missing. Slowly over time, when you understand the concepts, that gets ingrained. Okay? So this is why I showed you the video. So therefore, if there is a picture of success, and we'll go back to, just give me a second, where is the, which button? Sorry? This one? No. Help me out here. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm not a regular here. So if you think you are here, okay, so that's the animation. You are here today, okay, and there is a version of successful you who is, how many are 2024 here? Okay, 50%, 2025, rest. Online, let's take a poll. 2024, please say yes, or write the year there. 24, 25, yes, yes. I don't know what yes means, but okay. 24, 25. Okay, perfect. So half. And imagine that point B. This is point B, right? This is point A. So point B is 2025 or 2024, whatever the year you're preparing. This is the day the interview results are out, and you are successful. Imagine yourself, right? So in corporations, Shabbir said, right, so that we should emulate some corporate tactics here. So I'll give you a very, very simple and often used corporate tactic that we always do when we transform companies, right? So we tell them, can you visualize where you want to be? The first thing is visualization of success. What success means. Because if you cannot visualize it or cannot dream it, you cannot get there. So number one point is visualization of success. And that's what I want you to do. So think about 2024, 2025, you are here, you are successful, interview results are out, you are watching it and you are like, yes. Okay? Now come back, rewind. Now, today you are here. Think about the gap. What is missing in your prep today? So on a scale of 1 to 5, if 5 is, oh, I am absolutely well prepared or the best preparation that I can do, and I think this is adequate for successful, and 0 is, I have no clue what I am doing here. Who is at 5 in this room? Online, say yes if you are a 5 or write number 5 so I can know. No one? Obviously, confidence, we know, there's large number of unknowns and we'll talk about unknowns. How many are at 4? Don't be shy. Yeah, okay, that's good, very good. 4? How many yeses online? Okay, how many are at 3? Everyone raise a hand. Okay, I'm somewhere in the middle. Okay, all right, so you get the point. But we have a quick survey that we'll do and we'll try to quantify it. So what is missing in your prep today? You must have some idea, sir, मेरे पास ये नहीं है, sir, मेरे पास वो नहीं है, sir, ये होता तो बहुत अच्छा होता, I don't have time. See, corporations में और एक चीज़ बोलते हैं, right? In any project in your life, any project, take it any undertaking, it's a golden rule of 3. Cost, quality, speed. वो बोलते हैं either you don't have enough money or you you cannot accelerate fast to the timelines, you don't have time, right? Or you can get there, you can go fast, but it's not going to be of the same quality. So cost, quality, speed are called the 3 constraints of any undertaking. तो आपका जवाब ये भी हो सकता है, right? You can tell me, sir, I don't have resources, right? Which is kind of cost, resources. Let's draw a parallel. I don't have the right resources, I don't have enough time, or I have the resource and time, or I don't have the quality. It's something like that. So we think about this in the context of a preparation. We have given you some answers that you can check, so you don't have to think too much. But let us focus on your prep, what is missing in your prep today, and go ahead. Let's do that. Yeah, Shweta, we are going to go directly to the activity now. Yeah, let's do that.
So this is the QR code that we'll be using. Just have to take out your phone and use the scanner. Okay, scanner use kariye. Online students, you can use the scanner here. Offline, we'll distribute the QR code.
Yeah, so online, wasting a lot of time. He said, yes, flipping reels. We waste a lot of time, time management. I was like, okay, I'm wasting a lot of time because I'm attending this workshop. I'm glad that's not the case. Okay, consistency, good. So I think go to the forms online on your mobile phones and we'll do a quick one. This has all those options. So you take the question and we'll review it.
Hello guys, I think this activity will be helpful for you.
Make it clear it's not scannable. Can you give a link on the...
Yes.
Yeah, let's do the link. Yeah, we are sending you the link online. So just if you cannot scan the QR code, just bear for a second. It will be there. Filed and submitted. Very good. Awesome. Very quick, 2 questions. Think about it for a second before answering, not after answering. What is the link? Share again. So link. Share it from here. YouTube पे शेयर कर दो ना. Okay, so can we check the answers? How many answers we have got? (44), excellent. Okay, all of you done here? Okay, let's see. First question we asked you, what is missing your UPSC preparation today? Pick top 5. Yes, will this continue to do this? Daily schedule or timetable? 56. Okay, timetable is a big issue. Revision nahi ho raha hai. The purple line is process for studying, approach for current affairs, sufficient time to practice. Okay, time nahi hai. Current affairs ka approach, revision time chahiye. Okay, assuming several of you have proper notes, PYQ, good mentors. Content तो बहुत है, right? There's an overload of content today. Okay, all right. Let's see the second response. What are the aspects of preparation you're most confused about? These are kind of the unknowns. I don't know how to interpret the syllabus. I don't understand what to study. Right? This was what was the question? Study beyond syllabus. Okay. I don't know if I'm progressing better. Yes, because when do you not know that you are on the right path? जब GPS नहीं होता, right? GPS नहीं होता तो पता नहीं चलता कहाँ तक पहुँचे हो. Time to estimated time to complete नहीं रहता. उसका मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning? I don't have a good sight of point B. Very clear. And number 2, Google traffic. I don't know what is the traffic on the way. What are the hurdles on the way, right? ये दो चीज़ you need to know. In computer terminology we call it heuristics, right? So you know, when if you are from technical background, you'll know that term. Goal and heuristics, like how do we get to that goal? What are the hurdles in our path? ये दो चीज़ clear नहीं है, then you don't know what you are. Okay, let's go back to the slides. Good, thank you for the responses. So I think good. So what I started off by saying that ये दो चीज़ different नहीं है, the skill and the mental prowess, right? These are not two different things. And here's a graph that I did not draw. Okay, this graph is like a cliched, repeated thing that I have seen over my 2 decades of corporate experience. Okay, so if you draw a graph between skill and will, and Sunny will talk a little bit about that later on too, right? What happens in your life, in corporations, wherever you work, in UPSC, if you are high on skill but low on will, aptitude, mental prowess, interactions, people interactions, all of this, you will only go to a point. Okay, but if you have will, a lot of, you guys know Simon Sinek? You watch his videos? Big influencer? Have you heard? Simon Sinek? Raise of hands. Okay, so definitely listen to him on YouTube. It's one of those YouTube talks that actually give you some real juice. So what Simon Sinek says is companies should hire, and I'm giving you career advice, not just UPSC advice, because what personality development you'll do here will stand in good stead wherever you go. This is the best part about UPSC preparation, which is why we called Sunny today. He'll give you his example. Okay? So Simon Sinek says that hire here, high on will, medium to above average on skill, because skills can be taught. Okay? Mental aptitude, personal interactions, those things, personality development, that takes time. Okay? So what happens when you have low skill and low will? That point is called certainty of failure. Fail karenge. Absolutely you'll fail if you have low skill and low will. No chance you'll succeed. Okay? Then when you get a little more skill and a little more will, that point is called hope. Then you can say, I can hope to succeed. I hope I crack UPSC. I hope I become something at the end of 2 years. I hope I get there. Right? I just hope this works in my favor. Right? That is hope. Hope is not a strategy. Okay? Hope is not a strategy. And believe me, there is a reason why this graph goes like this and doesn't go like that. Right? Then talent and skills would be everything. You don't have to work hard or work on your personality. The next point, what is the next point? Any guesses? It's called belief. I believe I'll be successful. Thoda bahut hai skill, I have high on will, I'm working hard, I believe I've got a chance. And I think this must be your starting point. This has to be your starting point. So anytime you are worried about, oh, this is very hectic. Okay, I'll tell you, those of you who are saying it is hectic, take another look at why you joined, because it's not going to become easier after you pass this test. Even if you pass this test, it's just going to get more hectic. I can tell you 25 years of corporate experience, it does not get easier. It gets more and more difficult. Difficulty is at different level. You work 18 hours a day. There are several people in corporations that work 18 hours. Right? So belief is where you must start. This must be your starting point. The next point is certainty of success. Right? When you have high skill, high will, so you have to work both. These two have to work hand in hand. ये separately नहीं हो सकता. It cannot be done separately. You first develop my skill, then I'll go to a personality development class. No, 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 no. Okay? So we did the review of the activity. Now, in the activity, you had two things, two kinds of things. One is knowns, which you know, yes, I don't have a timetable. Timetable define karna is difficult nahi hai. What do you have to do to define a timetable? Is it difficult? A lot of you said timetable is a problem. You just sit with your mentor for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, he'll give you a timetable. The problem is not timetable. The problem is adhering to the timetable. So, हमने जब रिसर्च किया, we asked the successful aspirants, आपने टाइम टेबल बनाया था, वो everyone answered, time table is not a problem, sir. The problem is overcoming distractions. So you know what distracts you is a bigger question than timetable. So आप लोग वो देखो कि what is it that is taking your time. अपने phone पे digital well-being होगा, Android. Most of you Android users, check digital well-being. See how much time you are spending on what activity. Seeing reels. मैं कल metro में जा रहा था. There was a guy sitting next to me. Believe me, from here to Noida, 1 hour, the guy was just flipping reels. And I was watching him. I was like, he kya kar raha hai? Like he's just flipping reels. So think about your personal distractions and then think about a strategy. वो अगर आपने कर दिया तो कोई भी timetable will work. Most timetables are actually okay. You cannot lose by not having the right timetable. वो तो हो ही नहीं सकता. Because timetable is some of the easiest things in the world to do. So think about, knowns and unknowns, right? So what are the knowns we had? Other So let's go back a little bit to the thing. So the first question was more on notes, right? Daily schedule, revision, ये time आप कैसे space out करोगे? In our other workshop, Shabir has talked about your prelim success, for example. In that workshop, he actually told you how much time you need to spend on foundation, how much time you need to spend on advanced. So basically, this is a planning problem, right? So we'll talk about planning today also a little bit. So these are your knowns, mentors, process for studying. We'll talk a little bit about that also. But remember, this class is not the class that will give you the answer, but it's a class that will give you an approach to the answer. How will you approach an answer? That will give you. The actual answer, geography question, economics question, I am the least, have the least expertise in any of those areas. So I'm not going to talk about that, but I'll give you an approach. And then we have, these are kind of the unknowns, the beyond syllabus. Am I progressing the right way? GPS kahan par hai? What are the stumbling blocks that could come my way? So these are, I don't know if I'm confident enough. It is real, right? The unknowns are actually real. So you have defined a lot of the things that you don't know or confused about. So this is what we call known unknowns. Okay? No, why I'm saying known unknowns? Because you know that you don't know. Okay? But beyond knowns and known unknowns is something else. So if we can draw a boundary outside the unknown, we'll be able to at least understand what is missing in our prep and how we go forward. Okay? Let's go back to. So I think we kind of reviewed it. So is this enough? Whatever we wrote, 2 questions, or is there something beyond that known unknowns that we have? So few things I'll go back, and I'll go back to the videos I showed you. There's a reason why I showed you those videos, not just because luminaries, there are luminaries. You said a lot of things that came very close. The mindset. How do you quantify mindset? How do you quantify personality development? Can you go to the next layer? So if I ask you, personality development mein kya hota hai, right? That's how you study, right? So you go to the next level. You peel the onion, right? What is personality development? Any answers? Yeah, go for it. Good communication skills. Great. Yeah, online answers, offline, yes, come on. What is personality development?
बोलते हैं कुछ answers तो देते हैं ना. You guys must be knowing something about personality, right?
When we inherit the traits we want to acquire, it's a good one, Shaurya. I like the way you're thinking, but we have to quantify that a little bit. That still sounds very fuzzy. Inherit the traits we want to acquire. What do you want to acquire as part of personality development? That is the question.
The better management of things.
Better
management of things.
Better management. Yes, the ability to plan, right? Compassion and patience. Compassion and patience, is that necessary for UPSC? How is compassion necessary?
Compassion helps us in understanding other situations.
Wonderful. I'll say, big him a big round of applause, okay? I mean it. The reason is compassion is about understanding others, putting yourself in our shoes. And there is a reason why Jashankar is able to talk like that. There's a reason why Ruchira is able to talk like that, because they're able to put their self in other people's shoes. Every civil servant does it. आप किसी area के commissioner बनोगे या any of the posts in administrative spot, you have to deal with people. You have to be compassionate. तो ये quality आप दिखाओगे कैसे? आपके अंदर मेंस और इंटरव्यू के अंदर तो ये इसका जेनेसिस नहीं होने वाला है, राइट? नाउ इज इट रियली, डू यू हैव इट और यू डोंट? ऐसा भी तो नहीं है. वी ऑल हैव सम लेवल ऑफ कंपैशन व्हेन यू आर बोर्न, राइट? So I think we have to develop these things. So आज एक code हम लोग देंगे. See, no code is perfect in these worlds. This is fuzzy area, right? But I'll give you guys a code, and I'm certain that without code is worse than with some code in the fuzzy area, right? So basically, we are trying to draw a boundary around the fuzziness, and we are saying, how do we actually codify personality development? Includes various things like balance in all critical situation, dynamic process, yes, includes balance of thinking, calmness, composure. आप लोग ने interview, mock interviews देखा होगा YouTube पे. What is most striking about the toppers? What composure they answer the questions, right? बहुत ही difficult question पूछा. And I remember, I saw this guy Junaid. You know, he asked, the panel asked him a question on secularism. And it was a pretty tough question, and it was deliberately personal. And he expressed kind of composure when he answered. I just won my heart. I said, this is the reason why there is a high bar. And then this exam has a way of bringing everybody up. Because the exam demands that from you, right? So these are the unknown unknowns. The way you define personality will give you some code of how to do it. So this code, this method is going to basically elevate you from 99.9% to that 0.1%. But what is the 0.1%? The percentage that qualify. Don't let it like, no, it's tough, I can't get there. But you need to understand the X factor. Okay, we're loosely calling it personality development. We have a name for it. Okay. A lot of times, just give me a second. A lot of times we say that this is beyond syllabus. This is another name for that X factor. We say that this is what beyond syllabus is. मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा where this does it stop. UPSC demands everything under the sun. ये बहुत बार सुना है मैंने. Every time I walk in and it's like, oh, UPSC is like everything under the sun. कहाँ पे? Where is that point where I stop, right? I have the syllabus, L1, and L2 and L3. You start looking at the projections of that syllabus. कि तुम्हें challenging question आ रहा है personality के ऊपर, your vision के ऊपर. Then you have the observable universe and everything beyond that. तुम्हें ये सब नहीं करना है. You have to understand what is your syllabus and the projections of the syllabus. So again, I'm trying to just get you closer to quantifying the X factor or the unknowns, the unknown unknowns. Okay? Another question comes, how deep should I go? Should I be a generalist or a specialist? एक सब्जेक्ट में कितना डीप जाना है? सर ये तो बहुत डीप क्वेश्चन है, इसमें तो बहुत ज्योग्राफी पढ़ना है मुझे. UPSC is not expecting you to become a geographer, is it? Neither is it expecting you to become an economist, right? So how deep do they want you to go? They are the only thing. I mean, if you've read in their website, the selection criteria is available for you to study. आप उसको पढ़ सकते हो. You can go through it. And if you actually, the one for interviews is the one that actually seals the deal. आप वो देख लो तो आपको बाकी समझ में आएगा. They say that we want to examine if the student has an intelligent understanding of the subject, if they have thought about what they are studying. तो जो रट्टा मार के जाएगा उसका नहीं होने वाला. It's very clear. So that's why L1, the lowest level, will not work. And so what works? So what works, right? So so what it is again, I'm showing this for the benefit of everyone who hasn't seen this picture before. How many of you have seen this? Raise of hands. Okay, some of you, very few, 3 or 4, 5 in offline. Online, how many have seen this before? L1, L2, L3. I see some yes, 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 yes. Good. All right, some no's. Okay, so the point is, and this is another thing that I learned in my corporate life, is that understanding point B is all about understanding your client. Corporations में बोलते हैं, you need to understand your client, because उनका goal क्या होता है? To sell something to the client, right? Who is your customer? Understanding your customer. Corporate world में ये भरा हुआ है, this knowledge, right? Everything is about customer is king, you have to understand the customer journey. Why this relentless focus on customer? Because they want to reach their goal, right? Simple. What is your goal? UPSC panel is your customer, is your client, right? If they're convinced that you have it in you, you have all the ingredients and you can be molded to become a Jaishankar, they'll pick you. You have to have marks in mains, wo sab theek hai. But I always say, and this is what one of my mentors told me, is that if you have the numbers, you are at the starting line, not the finish line. It had a huge impact on my career. I did not get promoted in a certain period of my career. I said, I have the numbers, I have delivered, I have, whatever I done, whatever you asked me to do. You told me to sell something, deliver something, I have done it. My reviews are great. Why didn't I get there? What he told me opened my eyes. He said, numbers will get you to the starting lineup. Okay? So mains में आप कर रहे हो, आपका हो गया mains, मान लो, that just gets you to the starting lineup. Race starts again. So to run that second race, that is the real race. So if that is the starting line, then you think about what, as your customer, what is UPSC panel looking for, right? So that is up here, right? So make a note, analytical skills, you all know it, L2 level questions, interdisciplinary question, क्यों पूछ रहे हैं? They want to understand, have you thought about it, right? L3 level, your L3 level is all about your personality, vision and approach. X factor यहीं पे आता है. This is the X factor, okay? Beyond syllabus, interdisciplinary, economics को geography के साथ connect कर दिया. You have many questions like that, right? I'm not the expert. You guys know, you guys have reviewed all the questions. History को किसी और के साथ connect कर दिया. This is where your X factor comes in, and we want to make sure that we have some way to quantify this and go after this, right? Otherwise, we'll be doing the same old thing, right? Giving you a GS course, giving you a geography course, ये ले लो 1000 घंटे का है, activity कर लो, and you will crack. That is not the idea. अच्छा, personality development चाहिए, उसके लिए भी course है, right? And you cannot, this is not the way, okay? Quite frankly, this is not the way. So what is the way? Clear, it is not presentation skills, communication skills. That is not the way to think about it. You have to use the right word, otherwise you'll miss point B. We're trying to quantify point B. It is not interview etiquettes. Interview etiquette सिखाते हैं ना, when you go to interviews. अच्छा ऐसा, this is how you wear your clothes. Don't sit with this pose gives you this impression that you're closed. Be open. Hands ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा बैठना चाहिए. Don't fidget too much. I'll tell you, आप लोग जब mock देने जाओगे, I'm absolutely hoping each one of you kind of get there. When you go there and you go to a mock session, everyone will say the same thing. I will actually not hear your mock session and give you those 10 things, and 8 out of them will be correct. You don't have to do a mock test to learn that. Interview etiquettes आप YouTube में देख लो. आपका हाथ नहीं ज़्यादा हिलाना चाहिए. हाथ हिलाया तो बोला, अरे एक्सप्रेस ही नहीं कर रहे हो यार. You're not shaking your hands. You're not using your body effectively. So बहुत fuzzy होता है वो. It is very fuzzy. This interview etiquettes is very fuzzy. Okay, if you have seen enough of those on YouTube, you'll realize everyone has a personal style. मैं हाथ ऐसे हिलाता हूँ, कोई ऐसे हिलाता है, कोई ऐसे ऐसे बात करता है. It's like, it's a personality trait. That is not what they're measuring. Interview etiquette is like what you see on the skin. They, with those questions, they are getting to the bone. They're really getting to your moral fiber, your skeleton, to drive that out. Okay? It's a mindset thing, it's about personality. It cannot be developed between mains and interviews. इसको आपको ऐसा पढ़ना पड़ेगा to make it part of your preparation. As you prepare in a certain way. You prepare in a different way. Right? This is the way we prepare. Our code for this, after a lot of thinking, research, we came to this standpoint that we'll call this Yuva, and it has 4 layers. This is our approach. This is an approach. I'm sure you will see many other approaches, but to me, after all those conversations with hundreds of successful aspirants, this is kind of a code that can help you. So what is this? It's a way to an answer, not the answer itself. So this will teach you how to answer a question. I'll demonstrate that. Why is the U layer? It's all about your personality. Your personality means not just who you are, how it maps to a successful public servant. Civil servant का कुछ characteristics है कि नहीं, right? They exhibit certain things that make them successful. तो interview में क्या test कर रहे हैं? And remember, I again go back and say this is not a coaching for interview. You have to make certain changes in your preparation because it will be too late after mains is done, right? So Y is all about how you map to the qualities of a civil servant. U layer is all that you study. आप लोग जो पढ़ाई कर रहे हो ना, economics, geography, polity, all of that is U layer, your understanding layer. How well you understand issues, interdisciplinary, उसके deep में जाओ, जो studies हम लोग करते हैं, पढ़ाई करते हैं. तो क्या होता है, वो skill और will graph पे, every 90% of the time is spent in this layer. But if you focus on the other layers, this will have a better result. You can do this much better if you understand the other layers. V is about vision. You have to communicate your vision powerfully. So level 3 question, okay? So a level 3 question on, let's say, air pollution in India. Actually, I'll take a gender discrimination example. I think 2020 it came, that the attitude towards feminism in India, feminism in India is very patriarchal. In spite of some success stories and awesome success stories of women making it big in India. Comment. ये कौन से book में इसका आंसर लिखा है बताओ? You cannot find the answers of such questions. Those questions are 70% of the questions that come. L2, L3 का percentage actually 70%. This question can be best answered if you have thought about feminism and a vision for India. What kind of country does India need to be, or what kind of characteristics India need to exhibit in the area of feminism? Air quality of Delhi. एक कोई question पूछेगा. अच्छा, how you go in Delhi and you stay in Delhi, you are like upset about the air quality. आप क्या करोगे? कोई average क्या answer होगा? Sir, Monday को odd number, Tuesday को even number कर देंगे. That will solve most of the issues. So we'll go tell the farmers not to burn their crops. यही तो बोलोगे ना, 3-4. That is not the answer they are expecting. Okay? There has to be a different answer. So we'll talk about it. That is vision. What is your vision for that particular subject or topic area for the nation? और A है approach. Approach means एक vision तो हो गया. Vision का मतलब क्या है? It is like has the power to inspire, right? It can inspire people. It can move people to action. तो it establishes you as a leader. कि आप खड़े हो, कुछ बोल रहे हो, and people are ready to follow you. That is the way you should answer when some question comes. And when I say answer, not just interview answer, mains answer also. But approach is all about execution, making it happen, right? A is all about approach. So, आपका approach क्या होगा? उसका भी एक तरीका है. How do you answer those questions? So, we think these are the 4 layers that actually comes very close to documenting or understanding the X factor or the unknowns in how you prepare for UPSC. Okay? So हर एक layer का हमने आज कुछ examples लिया है, कुछ activity करेंगे. We'll discuss, right? Each of these layers, and we'll come back with what your thoughts are and your expression, and we'll figure out, we'll give you a code of how you measure it. And especially I called in Sunny to talk about the approach side, and because in his corporate experience, he's actually used this in a very execution driven way, so he'll talk about that. Okay? Now you understand what that poster means. You are poster. So first thing is developing yourself, right? You layer. Now we are in you. Forget about everything else, right? We are in you layer. We are developing our personality. We are trying to fake it till we make it. We are trying to become a civil servant of the future. Yehi hai na, successful you. Point B, right? So what is so we wrote down 10 qualities, and we found everybody talks about these 10. Like we saw interviews of UPSC selection committee chairman over the years. We saw civil servants talking. What do they expect? बहुत सारा करने के बाद these 10 is what we have landed up with. There can be 11, it can be 12, there can be other things, but broadly ये 10 चीज़ हमने mention किया है. तो इसका दो, we have divided it into two parts. One is personality, and the second is how you project it. It's not sufficient to be honest, right? There is a way of projecting honesty, right? So we'll talk about that. So inquisitiveness is the ability to go deep down. Humility, and you talked about honesty, compassion, right? Work ethic, self-awareness, leadership, ये सब आता है. Humility is, you deal with people, how you're humble, how you're able to understand their pains. Honesty, work ethic, self-awareness, and leadership. Projection is, are you being open? Could you be wrong? Are you open to alternate point of view, right? Assertiveness is all about whether you say something with some sort of assertion that yes, I believe this is right? Not just weakly saying it, but strongly saying it, and then being respectful, calm. So you will see that most successful aspirants actually exhibit these, and this comes in certain way in the way they speak and the way they project their personality. तो पहला चीज़ तो ये है, like ये तो overnight नहीं होने वाला है, but first thing, the way we do personality development is by understanding what this actually means. Before you do this, I would urge you, all of you, how many of you have taken a personality test? There are many millions of personality tests out there. Have you taken a personality test? Online, have you taken a personality test? Tell me the name of the personality test if you have taken one. Okay, there's a radio silence. So, okay, that's fine, totally fine. And you can start with something that I found terribly, real or terribly accurate. I say terribly accurate because it actually opened me up into what my strengths and weaknesses are. 16personalities.com. It's based on Myers-Briggs. We have the website here. Myers-Briggs is one of the foremost research done on personality tests, and the corporate world is like, gaga over it, right? So every HR, I used to get administered this twice a year in my corporate experience. Every year they made me take it twice. In some organization, every quarter they do it. Personalities change, but it's very important for you to understand yourself first, because faking is okay, but you need to know what your strong points are and your weak points are, because the reality is that you have to play on your strengths, and you have to make sure the weak points, at least you come on par with everybody. Weak point, only focusing on your weak points only gets you to a certain point, right? It gets it gets you on even par with the rest. But focus on your strength. So do the 16 personality test. It will take you 5-10 minutes, but I am absolutely certain this will give you huge insights into who you are. देन आप मैप करो, अपने आप आपको पता चलेगा आप क्या कर रहे हो. बट इवेंचुअली देयर नीड्स टू, आई नीड टू गिव यू मोर देन दैट कि जस्ट आप पर्सनालिटी टेस्ट कर लो, आपका हो जाएगा, राइट? सो व्हाट इज दैट मोर? Think of it. So a key concept that we use is something called show not tell. I've given an example of, you guys heard about Anton Chekhov? He was a writer, Russian writer, legendary writer. So he explained it beautifully in this word, in this phrase. He says, don't tell me the moon is shining, show me the glint of light on broken glass. So what does this mean? That मुझे directly मत बोलो, don't tell me that I am honest, show me an example. A glint in a broken glass is an example of the shining moon. Don't show me the moon is shining. So show not tell arose out of the writing fraternity. The writers actually started it, but this is all over the corporate marketplace. When we talk about talk to clients, customers, they always use it. And it is extremely valuable to you because these personality traits, you have to show, not tell. So I'll give you one example and then I'll leave you with an activity. You don't have to do it now, but you take that home and do it. And that will open your eyes. So show, not tell, good example. I'm very inquisitive and I have a strong work ethic, sir. Right? In an interview, why do you think you can be a good IAS officer? Sir, I'm very honest. Sir, I have integrity, sir, and I'm humble, and I'm compassionate, and I'm self-aware, sir, and I have leadership qualities. No, that's not going to work. That is tell. Okay? Showing something is an example of this, right? Not the perfect example, but talking about corruption. So while he's talking about corruption, he's giving you an example of these qualities. I believe an approach for solving corruption needs a deep examination, and as he's saying it, he's stressing on the words deep examination, and you use it in your mains answer writing as well, of various layers of where and why integrity is compromised. तो क्या बोला उसने? What did he actually say here? That at the root of corruption is a compromise of integrity. What is integrity? Definition? To be honest in every situation. Every situation, especially when no one is watching. Underline. Especially when no one is watching, आप क्या कर रहे हो? Okay, so he says that this is at the root of corruption. So बोल दिया ना, I'm inquisitive. अभी बोलने की जरूरत नहीं, sir, I'm inquisitive. Therefore, he should give me the job, right? So this is the example of show not tell. Okay. Now he also says this takes effort, sir, but it is also effort well spent. That means he has a focus on work ethic. That ये करना पड़ेगा हम लोग को. Like ये easy नहीं होगा, लेकिन करना पड़ेगा. We have to do it. So when you speak with that sort of way, you tell the person without telling them who you are. This is very important in answering L3 level questions. वो opening line में, if you have it, eyes will open up. They're like, I need to read this answer. ये क्या लिखा? What is this person written? So जो बोलते हैं, right, that you should capture the imagination of whoever you're speaking to in the first 5 minutes. Blink. Have you read the book? A very interesting book called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. He says that most perceptions happen in the first 5 minutes of any interaction. किसी के साथ भी आप interaction कर रहे हो. So same thing applies to your mains answer. Answer writing में यही सिखाया. And Sunny, I'm stealing your thunder a little bit. I know. This is the storytelling job you need to do in your answers, your interviews, in your life. And that's what's, eventually, this is where the X factor meets the rubber meets the road. So what I want you guys to do, we'll give you this, okay? 10 quality hai, right? We have given you 10 qualities. We have given you what it means. I want all of you to absolutely do this diligent, follow through. ठीक है? You write at least 3 examples, show not tell examples of each one, that how you embody it. But it cannot be, sir, I'm very compassionate because I really love my pet cat. Okay? It has to be in the context of an Indian issue, an area of focus. Okay? So, ये आपको अगर I'm telling you, if you do these 10, the fake it till you make it will become much more real. You will start believing in yourself. This is what happens in imitation. एक बार आप imitate करोगे, then you start getting it. I'm like, I know this, right? So one of my mentors used to tell me that before a big corporate boardroom presentation, you go into your room and you do this. He used to call it the V. He said this is a power pose. He said you do this and you say, I'm Superman, right? There is a reason why this is valuable. But not enough to say I'm Superman. You need to know what Superman is, what are the ingredients of Superman, right? So we've given you some ingredients. Unless you discover these ingredients in yourself, it's going to be tough. We'll give you this, do this, and I'm telling you, it will start reflecting in your answers. Okay? So this is the why exercise. Any questions? I'll pause here for a second. We have been talking for a long time, that makes me uncomfortable. Any question, any specific any specific thing that you're having trouble with here? Inquisitiveness, can you think of examples? We'll get some volunteers out. Like, yeah, do this at home, but let's get some examples from everybody. Online, show not tell, inquisitiveness. Simple example I gave you for corruption, right? Think about it. Another way to think is what you are most passionate about. Start there, right? What's the issue that, okay, let's ask a question. I'll ask you, what's your most passionate area, right? Which area really riles you up? Or think that ये इसमें change होना चाहिए?
Women development.
Women development.
Yes, sir.
So if you have to show inquisitiveness in women development, right?
Yes.
That means you have to show your examiner that you have gone beyond the first layer.
So
What would you say?
Firstly, we are mostly focused on educating women, but there is a lack between the job criteria, and then we have so many graduates, postgraduate girls, but not in the corporate area, not in the jobs arena, not even the civil servants services.
Wonderful point. Okay, so what you are saying is you took them all the way up to university,
Yes, sir.
but job readiness and actual landing a job, this is where fall through.
Yes.
So the answer could be, sir, I think a lot of things are being done on feminism, but a critical area, which is how to make them are they actually landing in jobs, is not being done, right? So this is a way. I'm just giving you, like I told you, I'll give you an approach to answer. I'll not give you the answer, but wonderful point. Anything else want to highlight?
Is the mindset of men in the house also work there, because if the man supports, then women can also enter in the corporate area and other sectors also. So the mentality of both men and women should be balanced towards the equality of women.
Wonderful point. So these are examples that you have gone beyond the first layer and actually looked at 2 or 3 real critical areas. So it's the behavior of men which can change the reality for women, or that can be a wonderful thing. And the second thing you said is job readiness. 2-3 list kar do, you'll be done. Your inquisitiveness is check. You figured out your favorite area and then do it for the next area. 2-3 area kar lo, your humility, your inquisitiveness is a check. Okay, humility. Any takers for humility? Okay, online, Divek says India should negotiate on liability costs and technology transfers, ensure development of nuclear tech. Yes, okay, that's a good one. That is more visionary, certainly more visionary, but think about how you can use this, which ones of these qualities does that match up to, right? That will be where you will really find the connection. Okay, any takers for humility? Or anything that you see here? Which is the difficult one? Okay, let's tell the difficult one. कोई कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा, ये भी बोल सकते हो, what I don't know. You don't have to answer what you know. You can also say, sir, ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Tough one? Which is the tough one here? Integrity. Okay? Honesty and integrity. You do the right thing when nobody is watching. How do you show it? Very good question. Who can give an example? I don't have to give all the answers, right? Online, humility. Muskan says humility. Yes, perfect. Paying taxes. Okay, we all pay taxes. So integrity will be a huge factor as a civil servant, because integrity lies at the very core of everything that we do, who we are as human beings, right? And you can think of it as something that you never compromise on, right? So koi issue, you find out an issue where you say, these are my uncompromisable aspects of this. Sir, when I think about terrorism, I think these 3 points are not compromisable at all. That's how you start. You show your integrity in that way. You talk about things that are not compromisable. Or you can say, for corruption is a good one, easy one to take. You can say, sir, that's integrity is at the core. And people cannot be, so how can we be a society? So ask questions. This is where your thought process will also improve. What will happen? You'll not be able to answer some questions. A very easy question today to ask Google is, okay, what is integrity and how must one develop it? I'm just throwing an example. It'll give you a fantastic answer. But think about how you applied that in the UPSC context. Integrity is a tough one, I agree. Leadership, how you inspire others. Are there any examples in your life where you have led something or some cause or some, don't say I was a class monitor. You can say it. It has to have some goal in mind, right? So think about those things where you have performed those roles. And it's okay if you have not done it. That is okay. It is absolutely not essential that you should have 3 examples of all 10. You will mostly do 4 or 5. But trust me, start with 3. It's going to be a huge step in the right direction. So who you are as a civil servant, fake it till you make it, take your personality test, do this activity, it will start thinking in the right direction. Okay? Now, develop your understanding. Nitish, how are you doing on time? 1:30? Okay? Okay. So we'll speed up a little bit. So understanding development is all about starting. So you guys are studying, all your subjects, your answer writing, and doing all of that. And there is a method to that, and you're following it. I just want to tweak that a little bit in terms of giving you some examples of how to effectively prepare. So एक चीज़ बहुत clear है that you need to start with your community and state, your interest areas and your specialization. You should be very, very clear about it. तो कहाँ पे आए हो, कहाँ से आए हो, where are you from, what are the issues of that particular state. These should be very clear in your mind, because you layer में वही test करता है. And you know, especially in interviews, this is, you know, mains में तो ठीक है, they don't know where you're from, but in interview this makes a big difference. And develop methods of capturing understanding. So I think sir ने techniques बताए हैं, mentors बताते रहते हैं, but I'll show you some examples of what this is. Mind maps, you guys use mind maps regularly. I'm hoping. हम लोग ruled paper में लिखते हैं notes. How many of you take notes on a ruled paper? Okay, blank paper, but do you write in lines? Mostly that's what we do, but this is because you know, we study from books. And most traditional learning methods is all books, lines of text. But the mind doesn't remember like that. So drawing pictures is a very essential part of understanding a particular topic, right? So आप किसी भी topic पे अगर notes, आपके graphical notes नहीं है, it will be very difficult for you to memorize. You know, we all are visual learners to a large extent. So mind maps, timelines, simple categorization, ये सब tools हैं. These are all tools of the trade, right? So do that effectively. Another tool that you can do is, you know, value versus complexity. This is a chart that is regularly used, right? कोई भी आप मान लो, you know, we're talking about air quality in Delhi, right? आप पांच, you know, you find out 5 things that we need to do, right? Now, can you put it on a value complexity chart and say which one is high value but low complexity? I mean, delivers result but less complex, versus incredibly complex and you know, low value. So immediately it will tell you which ones to do first, right? So high value, low complexity is to be done first. These are called quick wins, right? So charts like that is very important for you to understand and develop understanding in any topic. So, you know, as you prepare, forget those rule line papers, forget rule line notes, start taking graphical notes in how you approach things. So there are 2 or 3 things that we want to do as an activity, that हर एक चीज़ में, when you understand an issue, you have to do these 3 things apart from what you're studying. You need to understand your personal connection. Okay? Now what does personal connection mean? Okay, I'll take you for example. Which state are you from? Bihar. बिहार के कहाँ से हो? कौन से डिस्ट्रिक्ट से? Sorry?
जहानाबाद.
जहानाबाद. तो जहानाबाद बिहार में what are the things that you face that you feel like, yeah, this needs some change and this needs some transformation?
Education.
Education and
infrastructure.
Infrastructure. तो आपको ये personally कैसे impact किया है? कुछ impact किया है? Like how can you think of any personal connection to this?
Because I think that you can say.
Yeah.
I want to use Hindi language.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
मुझे भी नहीं मिल पाया. Like better infrastructure and better educational, like basic education.
तो बेसिक एजुकेशन कैसे? लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल. बेसिक एजुकेशन, आप सोचो बेसिक एजुकेशन क्यों नहीं मिला, क्या नहीं मिला, व्हाट डिड यू नॉट गेट एज पार्ट ऑफ बेसिक एजुकेशन?
लाइक जैसे मेरा एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड ऐसा था कि ना मैं हिंदी में बढ़िया हो पाया ना अंग्रेजी में बढ़िया हो पाया.
सो नाउ यू हैव अ पर्सनल कनेक्शन. यू कैन से दैट मुझे अगर दूसरे तरीके का एजुकेशन मिलता तो मैं उसके साथ ये कर सकता. यू कुड से इट लाइक दैट इंस्टेड ऑफ सेइंग सर जहानाबाद बिहार हैज एजुकेशन इश्यूज. इज वेरी impersonal. Making it personal will make it real for you. Okay, so it's a very very key part of storytelling. So first thing, thank you. By the way. Second thing, you examine what has been done before. Have they been successful or failures? Right. Go to the next layer. Understand. I told you a value complexity chart. That's a good way. Can you take all the existing measures? आपने पढ़ा ये 4 चीज़ हुआ है to solve this incident. Can you put it on a value complexity chart? Immediately aapko that chart will tell you a lot more. Then you have lot more material to go write about, right? And the third thing is, if you were in power, if you had all the keys to the kingdom, आपके पास सारे चाबी हो गए, तो आप क्या करते? It is important to write it down. If you don't write it, it will be difficult to say or write on the day of the exam. So think about like you as a civil servant in that position trying to make a difference. आप क्या करोगे? If you put this first when you answer, sir, मेरा personal connection ये, this is what I personally faced. And I think therefore, these are the 2-3 things that need to be addressed. And then I will do that. That's a lot more powerful than saying, sir, ये scheme करना चाहिए, ये scheme करना चाहिए, वो scheme करना चाहिए. This is the difference between facts and storytelling. Okay? So simple concept, I'm saying that, take this, do it. We've given you some examples. Quality education in India, NEP, overfishing and its impact. This one tripped me. Like, anybody from the coastal states? Anyone has a coastal background online? Yes, sir. Gyana. Okay. Devashmita, Aparna. Okay. Coastal states. Any coastal, how do you connect with overfishing and its impact to the human ecosystem? Do you have a personal connection with this? So, what I'm trying to tell, guys, wait for their answer. Sorry?
Sir, I am from Gujarat, Surat.
Okay, perfect, yeah. You're from? West Bengal, okay. So, do you have any awareness of the fishing communities and what impacts them, and personally, can you discover a personal connection with overfishing? Yeah?
The fishing boards,
Yes.
and the education how to fish like in the sea, and the fishing kits, tools, etc.
So how has this impacted the lives of people in your district?
The economic life will be affected.
Right. Now, do you know anybody, or do you happen to know or have seen? You might have also read in papers, or you might have experienced. There are many ways to experience. We might have personally gone through it. We might have seen it on TV, or we might have experienced it in some other way through a friend or another person being affected, right? वो story भी आप बोल सकते हो. You don't have to experience. See, we all have limited experiences. But personal connection का ये मतलब नहीं कि मैंने, I have gone through this. You can always say, sir, I have seen this on TV and it really impacted me because I think people of my state and my community are being impacted in such a way and they're losing their jobs because of overfishing by corporations. Then you have made the connection. You have seen it, you have experienced it. It's a very important part of the understanding. तो आप जो भी issue पढ़ रहे हो, try to explore a personal connection. Because personal connection जब तक नहीं आएगा, तब तक वो bookish knowledge होके रह जाएगा. It's very difficult to then reproduce. Okay? All right. Thank you. So the third area, which is the V layer, and I didn't want to dwell too much on understanding because that's your subject matter. You're already focusing there. But let's focus on V layer for a second. So V layer is all about caring for the cause, having clarity and inspiring or incentivizing others to succeed. So what does it mean to have a vision? यहाँ पे आप, you will show your leadership, right? So what do leaders do effectively? आपको अच्छा लगा जयशंकर ने कुछ बोला, right? वो क्यों अच्छा लगा? क्यों का reason you have to answer, then it will be clear. Yes, you are saying something. सबको लेके बोल रहे थे. They mirrored the voice of Everybody. Okay, perfect. It was very clear that they cared for the cause. Sneha Dubey का इसमें उसमें लग रहा था कि उसमें जान है, right? She was saying this because she really believed in it. Leaders का हमेशा यही रहता है. तो when you communicate your vision, you have to show that you care. तब लोग सुनेंगे. कोई dispassionately बोल रहा है, हाँ sir, there is a problem in my state and community. Sir, there is a problem. And I understand there is a problem. This is how you. So you show you care. That's the first thing. The second thing you show is you have clarity. You need to have clarity. Clarity, आपने जो example दिया, you lay down 2 or 3 things that you need to do on that subject. It's very important. A leader, हम लोग clarity ढूंढते हैं leaders से, right? We don't want our leaders to say, oh, I don't know. Oh, it's difficult. Oh, it depends. We don't want these answers. वो झूठ भी बोले, वो clearly बोलना चाहिए, right? वो झूठ भी बोले, वो clearly बोलना चाहिए. तभी, we feel like yes. The leaders. I mean, leaders have that quality. They communicate chaos or communicate in a difficult situation, in a magical, different way. But that way is clarity. So clarity होना चाहिए. आप क्या बोल रहे हो, क्यों बोल रहे हो? So vision for India. What is the vision of air quality in Delhi? I keep coming back to that example. But how can you communicate vision? Any ideas? Yeah? Sorry? Yes, so that is one of the solutions. But vision has to have a longer term view of things, right? It cannot be what I'll do tomorrow, what should be done today. Vision is where you are going. Vision is actually point B. So one way, and I have given some examples in the next page. I face it every day in the streets. Okay, connection somehow, right? I believe the capital of our country needs to be a shining example of this country, right? And set the standard for the rest of us. We cannot be satisfied with containing the problem. Instead, should focus on getting to the top of the charts. So air quality index, where is Delhi? Do you guys know? It's one of the most polluted cities in the world. Is that a standard you want to set as a nation? Delhi should be high up there, right? It should be in the top 10, isn't that? What? Oh, नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता. This is execution. But if you have a vision, कहते हैं ना, if you want the moon, shoot for the stars. If you shoot for the stars, you'll get to the moon. So what is our vision? Sir, Delhi to shining example होना चाहिए. It should be in the top 10s. Why is it languishing in 180? Right? It needs to come up, right? It needs to be beacon of what India is. India shining बोलते हैं तो Delhi shining तो होना ही चाहिए. सर में जो ताज है, right? That should shine the best. That's a vision statement. Okay? Which is different from here's the tactical pieces that we need to do. There's strategic thinking. मैंने L1, L2, L3 में top में लिखा था strategic. That's strategic thinking. Tactical is what you do today, tomorrow to get there, to point B. Right? So, yeah, so I gave you give this example. So I had this right here, gender discrimination, assumed role of women. We have an assumed role of women, right? So इसमें ये vision में it is about like showing, I've shown you a way that where you show how you care. It's not an example of, this is like a shining example of point B, but this shows you how you care. So he's saying, I directly witnessed this in my own family and my working mother. Beyond making up nearly half our financial income, she had to take a disproportionate share of household responsibility. She was not only earning, but she was also doing 90% of the housework. So you're saying this impacted me greatly because I saw her potential. Immediately you've nailed that you care for the cause. Okay? So these kinds of things will be very important in vision. For corruption, then have similar examples. I have given 3 here, but vision, think about 3 things, right? You go back. Do you care for the cause? Do you have clarity? And can you inspire, incentivize others? How will you inspire others to do it? वो स्टेट नारा होना चाहिए ना, एक विजन के साथ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एक स्लोगन, थिंग दैट पीपल विल रैली आफ्टर, राइट? सो I have given these 3 examples. Again, this is an activity for you. How do you show that you deeply care for this cause is your first question. तो आप लिखोगे, you write down your favorite top areas. आपके discussion में जो भी आ रहा है, you know, economy में, history में, geography में, whatever is coming, you write it, and you know, then the first question you answer is how do you show that you deeply care? What's your vision for this country, for the country in this area? जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन का विजन क्या है? इट्स नॉट टैक्टिकल थिंग्स दैट यू डू टुमारो, डे आफ्टर टुमारो. कहीं पे होगा दैट यू नो, लुक एट द कंट्रीज वेयर देयर इज नो जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. व्हाट आर द क्वालिटीज ऑफ दैट कंट्री? कैन यू एमुलेट फॉर दैट you know, that country in what it does best? So it's again projecting something that India as a country should do. What is point B for India? That is your vision. So think about this. The last one is how will you inspire, incentivize others? ये questions आपको answer करने होंगे. Today I am giving you these things. These things are not like आप कल करना चालू करोगे, but if you do it over a period of time, it happens. It reflects in your answers. Okay? आप 4 topic ही करो, but करो. Okay? Any questions on this? I want to accelerate to approach. That's where we'll call in Sunny. He's the star of the show. No pressure. But approach is all about making it happen. Okay? About execution. और approach में ये होता है कि there's something called outcome orientation. Outcome orientation का मतलब क्या है? Yeah? Results, yeah? Result orientedness, absolutely. तो हर एक वक्त आप कुछ कर रहे हो, उसका result क्या है? What is the objective you are shooting for? And how are you making progress in the right direction? Right? आप लोगों ने, बहुत लोगों ने बोला कि I can't measure my own progress. So if UPSC preparation is your project, the outcome orientation and what stands in your way you need to know. And constraints, headwinds and tailwinds. Constraints तो समझ में आता है, headwinds क्या है and tailwinds क्या है? Answers? Sorry? I didn't get you. You windward and leeward, yeah. So what is pushing you ahead? What's going to help me? What are the things that will happen that will push me further, faster in my path? And headwinds is what's going to hit me, right? Stop me. So when you think about a project, आप एक, you know, again we'll take same example. So marine ecology or overfishing. When you think about that problem, think about the headwinds and tailwinds. Okay? Then you know that ये नहीं हो रहा है, ये 3-4 चीजें successful नहीं हुई because this happened. These are the things that are stopping this from happening. These are the things that promote this to happen. तो ये भी सोचना पड़ेगा. Otherwise your answer will look like it's an L1 answer. This is how you elevate your answer to L2 and L3. Okay? And finally, how will you use a combination of people, process and technology to make it happen? Okay? So, if you think about a project, your project, एक कोई project दिया, you know, lifelong I have been doing projects. And I'll tell you, bottom line is, आप 1000 document produce करो, ये करो, वो करो, but these 5 things are what we do in a project. First is, we understand what is the vision and mission. क्यों कर रहे हैं? I started with 3 whys. That should be very clear. हम लोग ये क्यों कर रहे हैं? What are we going to gain from this? Very clear होना चाहिए, right? The point B is going to be very clear when you have vision, mission and objectives. Objectives is more tactical. What is the objective of this program? ये program खत्म होगा तो मेरा air quality index 180 से 150 तक पहुंचाना है. तो टेंजिबल हो गया कि नहीं? फिर 150 में जो कंट्री है उसको देखो, राइट? What does it mean in terms of greenhouse gases? Then you know, okay, I am at 20%, I have to go to 30%. It becomes very tight. So this is where you make your objective very tight. Then comes the plan. Plan is the sequence of activities that need to happen, right? 5 एक्टिविटी करोगे, किस सीक्वेंस में करोगे, किसको पैरेलल करोगे, किसको सीक्वेंशियल करोगे. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ वेरिएबल्स इन अ प्रोजेक्ट प्लान. इट्स नॉट सीक्वेंशियल. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम लोग बोलते हैं इंटीग्रेटेड प्रेप करो, उसके बाद मेंस की पढ़ाई, प्रीलिम्स की करो, फिर मेंस की करो. बट देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स यू आर डूइंग साइड बाय साइड. कितना ये जो आप, लॉट ऑफ यू टोल्ड मी, राइट, प्लान इज अ बिग डील, लाइक प्लानिंग, गेटिंग द प्लानिंग राइट, बिकॉज यू हैव टू डू मेनी थिंग्स पैरेलली. सो plan is that. And then when you do the plan, you have to have absolute understanding of the constraints, headwinds and tailwinds, because this is what can kill the plan. Planning is, कहते हैं ना, boxers tell this, that all the planning goes away when you get hit at the first punch in the ring. You know, you throw the plan. So plan is only as good as, if you don't understand headwinds and tailwinds, the plan can not go anywhere. वो plan होगा ही नहीं आपका. So you need to get these things together. You need to understand headwinds, tailwinds. Finally, क्या process है, क्या technology use करोगे, कौन से people use करोगे, these are things. तो आप कोई भी problem ले लो, कोई भी question ले लो UPSC का, think about this, questions that are issue based और क्या करना चाहिए, those kinds of questions. Then think, what is the vision, mission? फिर आप, when you answer, right, you can say my plan. Before you say my plan, you have to say what's my vision and objectives. So this should be the short term and long term objectives. This should be the plan. These are the way the plan can fail or pass, and therefore and this is the way I'll use people, process and technology. ये process change करूँगा, यहाँ पे मैं technology use करूँगा. Then you will not look like somebody who has done like just found 5 reasons why this thing happened and you're delivering it. ठीक है? So what we'll do is we'll call Sunny on stage. Sunny, please come over. And a little bit about Sunny. So a lot of you are doing your preparation. Fortunately or unfortunately, 0.1% will make it. Okay? Now that's not the end of the road, because extremely talented people, like I know Satya Nadella, somebody was saying, was a good example of somebody who failed UPSC. But you can make amazing amounts or achieve amazing amounts of success in your life if you do these things in the right way. This is what we are saying, personality development, right? So you know how to approach. So Sunny will tell us. Sunny twice, did 3 times. Excellent student, gold medalist. Some things didn't work, but he has a amazing career in a global MNC, working in a very top position, touring the world, having the time of his life, and he's an ex-student of Shabbir sir. So I'll ask him to share some key things that during his preparation that he did, that is actually helping him today, and why certain things that we talked about here are very essential. So Sunny, please. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Fine.
Oh. Hello.
Take it away.
Hi everyone. It's a pleasure coming back to
Rajendra Nagar, from streets of Rajendra Nagar to Riyadh. So to give a short introduction of myself, so I look after the network development in an oil and gas company in Saudi Arabia, wherein I'm heading Saudi Arabia, Oman, Bahrain, and recently I've been given the charge of Malaysia and Indian markets. Essentially, I was a student of Shabir sir, and I had the pleasure of studying from him. I gave 3 attempts and I could not qualify civil services, and I very gracefully also took an exit. So the entire process, which I studied in the classroom, in fact, I used to be one of the students sitting in the back, and the seat remained the same as well, even till today. So one key aspect, which you all need to understand is, as Deb and Shabir sir would emphasize multiple times during the preparation, is about complete personality developments. I could not qualify. Yesterday I was meeting a friend of mine who is an IS officer now, STM, and another friend. Whenever I visit India, I do make it a point to visit other friends. And the one thing which is common across all of us was that we all were, a complete individual. And a complete individual is someone who has a holistic personality, who understands things. Some of the activities which I was, looking at about vision, mission, plan, which they, of course, was talking about, is what exactly requires you to it. Now, certain things, as Deb also mentioned, that one has to be pragmatic in approach. Now, that pragmatism is, when I was preparing, there was a teacher who used to come and say, not everyone is going to qualify. And it's a truth. Now, that person was most hated person in our batch. He to sabko demotivate karne ke liye yahan pe aaya hua hai. But that's the truth. The truth is, but then what else? If not this, what else? The other option is that you prepare yourself, and then there are other exams and there are many other things. So talking exclusively about the things which this program will help you to develop or learn is, for example, Shabir sir will often ask you about synopsis writing. If those of you have studied, वो रोना आता था, because he will give you that, he will say all 6, 7, 8 old new NCRTs, then use one page, write, make columns, make graphs and everything. This ultimately will be used whether in corporate or in public life. To give example from corporate life, you have a board meeting, your CEO, I report to a Russian CEO, and he's an ex-Rolls-Royce guy. And he would just come up with volumes of board minutes, and then he would say, okay, I want a project brief in 30 minutes. Now this is, again, you have practiced it here, it will help you. Something similar happened, for example, my friend who's in STM, and now he has to go and brief the DM about the project they have taken, the work they have done during the COVID times, vaccination status, bed status, patient status. Now he has these volumes of reports with him, 1-page report, so that will again go to Ministry of Health and Welfare. So that's so this whole exercise, which you're doing over here, if you do it diligently, it will have a great impact going forward. Another example of answer writing. And answer writing is a reflection of how well you understand and how well you structure your thoughts into it. It does not test how well qualified you are in terms of answering that question, but additionally it also tests that if you have some basic knowledge and if you can relate well with the topic which is being asked for, your work is done. And this is something, again, as manager, I manage a team and I also report to a director, and this is where, for example, you are asked to make annual appraisal reports for myself and for my team members. You have project briefs, you have presentation decks, corporate investment decks, and all of it. Recently, I was in India for one of the projects with HPCL. It's a 10,000 crore project wherein we are discussing of getting access to the oil market. So this is, I had no idea. If I was not a UPSC student, I would have not understood how everything the government setup works and everything works. But because I've started it, I do understand how things work in a manner. The other quality, which integrity, which people talk about, trust me, it is one of the most tested, skill which is required, whether you are in corporate sector or you're in public sector or you are in NGO, whatever sector you are into. In fact, even in your personal life, I have an example, in case. So we have one of our refineries in Jubail Ali in Dubai, and one of the manager was accused of, causing a loss to the company of 10 million dirhams. he was let go of because his intent was right. But his same guy, he was the cash manager. So fuel stations, when we work at a fuel station, you have to declare the cash in the morning. And in the evening, he did not declare the cash which was in his pocket. And that was around 30 halalas, equivalent to 30 paisas, I would say. He was fired. So you steal a stapler, you're fired. But if you do a mistake, a genuine mistake, you were spared. Something similar happens in government sector as well. If your intent is right, for example, my friend again, when he was STM Kapaseda, which is in Southwest Delhi, he sanctioned a hospital to increase its bed strength during COVID times, despite floating the norms led by the Medical Council of India. But his intent was right. He was let go of. But at the same time, a procurement mistake, not in line with Government of India procurement policy, costed a guy his job. He was put under suspension. So integrity is an extremely important part. So you will learn a lot about it over here. You would learn a lot about it, from teachers, from different guides and books. That's how it happens. So integrity, hard work, purpose-driven hard work should be there. A lot of us, mechanically will get into the process without even realizing why. I come from Bihar. I come from a non-descript, not a non-descript, it's a village in Chakia block of Champaran district in Bihar. So वहाँ पे ना everybody has a favorite hobby of giving civil service examination. Everyone, जिसको भी पूछो तो देना ही देना है the civil service. That's how common it is. In fact, I was also to a certain point, I was also influenced to give this exam by that because I did not have a clear purpose. Now I have a clear purpose. Now I know. Now the purpose alone would also define the impact which will have. For example, the work which I am doing right now is helping big companies like Amazon, and then UPS, and then companies like Lucid and other automobile companies go green, save carbon emissions. That's the work domain I'm working into. So every day that helps me to understand the purpose and the impact it will have. So you need to have that clarity. Why IAS? Something similar. So today only I was sitting with my consultant. So I'm applying to Harvard Business School for my further education because after my civils I did not pursue a formal course. And in Harvard, my consultant asked me, why do you want to be Harvard? Why do you want to get into Harvard? It's a one question which the consultant again will ask. The admission committee would ask. And then I had, I want to get into it because I've heard it gives a good compensation package. Well, that's not the true answer, right? You have to get, this is the things you would do. The other question was, what would you do? What's your short-term goal, a long-term goal? And how would you pursue your long-term goal after you qualify from Harvard, right? Something similar over here. It's such a common thing. I was just thinking that the half-an-hour session I had with a client from Singapore is doing the same thing. As an individual, when I go and sit in Saudi Arabia, and when I talk about the board, because when I present myself in the board, I'm also acting in capacity as an IFS officer, because I'm talking about the interest of India over there. I'm talking about the interest of the investments which we're going to make over there, because then there are different. It's an MNC. It's called Petroleum Corporation. It's an MNC with business in 70 countries. The budget is limited. How do you protect interest of your own home country without prejudicing your own capital interest? For example, the profitability and all of it. Even if you become IAS officers, trust me, you will have KPIs. You will not make your way up there. Those of my friends who they say this to me on an everyday basis, that the concept of grain mouse is finished. You know what's a grain mouse? A grain mouse is someone who will sit in a corner, it will not work. And then it will explode, eat and eat to a point it will start exploding. So there are numerous cases wherein senior civil servants who have made their way up by hook or crook are being forcibly retired, given VRS, voluntary retirement, because they are not efficient enough. And why they are not efficient enough? Because somewhere they do not know, they have not been able to reinvent their purpose. So you will have to, if you are in Rajendra Nagar, the chances of being distracted is very high. It's extremely high. The same goes for me. I have if someone asks me, I have absolutely no motive to go for higher studies. The compensation is good, it's international role, I travel the world, what more do I need? But then I had a word, I speak to Shabir sir when I go from Saudi, I often call him once in a while and say, sir, SISI, and then he said that you should not be settled enough and you should always keep challenging yourself. So, and this is where you should not get distracted with yourself. So if you were civil servant, these questions which vision and mission objective, यही लक्ष्मीकांत का कवर देखने के बाद इसी को रोज़ देख लोगे ना तो अपने आप में रहेगा कि दिस इज़ वाई वी आर हियर. Most of you, including me, come from very humble families. And one of the reasons to get into civil services is that we also want the situation, whether it is social or economic situation of our families to change. Most of you would also be able to recollect. And we see this as a mean to do that. There's a driver and there's a driver which drives and there's a destination which you want to reach. This exam, you believe that is one of the ways how which you can achieve and mean and do all of it. There's nothing wrong into it, but perhaps it requires more than that to just qualify into it. I realize that. I realize that it requires just more than that. So have all these goals in mind. The mentors over here, are absolutely fantastic. I've had the opportunity to get mentorship from Sabir sir. Now look at this, if you go to a regular institution, coaching band, dukaan band, ab aap agle batch ke liye paisa do aur aao and then you join yourself. It's been 5 years, right? Since I left Rajendra Nagar and I moved to, I worked in India for a while and then I moved outside. Even today, despite the time zone differences, work week differences, Shabir sir would always accommodate, help me, support me into it. So it's very important to also find a right mentor for it and have the checks and balances in place. So a program like you, I was very patiently, listening what Dave was mentioning about some of the things. So these are what is also required to exceed in this exam. Now, my way did not work out because why it did not work out? Because I did not pay complete attention to what my mentors were guiding. Shabir sir बोलेंगे exam लिखो, answer writing लिखो, 5 answer लिखो, एक लिख के छोड़ दिया, 2 लिख के छोड़ दिया. Now, because we did not improvise ourselves, he would ask you to do synopsis writing, he would ask you to do MCQ from, there are compilations available in the market of previous year questions. These things he would continuously ask you to do, which I didn't do, of course. That's why I couldn't qualify. But then there वो एक है ना वो सितारों के आगे जहाँ और भी है अभी इश्क के इम्तिहान और भी है. So there is much more which lies beyond you. People who do not, I don't want to tell you that nahi hoga ya hoga, but I just want to tell you that keep your fear aside. When I went to Saudi, I was so scared. I was scared first, the language, culture, everything is different. But I'm so grateful to my current line manager, Tony Mazon. He's a British guy, ex-British Petroleum. And I told him, he could sense that abhi aapki answer kar raha tha, and he was, I believe, not very, I would say, conversant in English. And then he was fumbling. The same was with me. I knew English, but I had a problem in understanding the accent. Our team was from, the Scottish English is very difficult to interpret, followed by the Italian English, and there are different versions of English over there. I was scared, what if I fail, what if I fail, what if I don't do it, I'm going to go back home, I'm going to be deported. So I was then mentored by him, and I was told by my line manager that you need to keep aside the fear. Instead of finding 99 reasons for why you will not qualify, find one reason why you should qualify, right? And that fear you need to keep aside and then start working into it. So these are ये ना चीज़ों को बताता नहीं है आपको. Nobody will tell you. Somehow, because most of you are graduate, you understand, probably you're early 25, 24, early 20s में भी हैं, तो ये चीज़ पता नहीं होती है. But going forward, this is extremely crucial. आप एग्ज़ाम दीजिए, people qualify. There are students of Shabir sir who have got into, अभी other friend of mine who was studying with me, he is now working on digital services. He is now special judge CBI, 64 districts of Haryana and Delhi and Uttarakhand, Himachal, and 32 districts of Uttar Pradesh reporting to him. Met him again day before yesterday. So these bonds also will grow over a period of time. So no harm, absolutely no harm. Shabir sir एक लाइन हमेशा क्लास में बोलते थे that this exam is qualifying or not qualifying the exam is not a statement of your sincerity or strength or your character. It should be seen as an exam, not more than that. Work with a detachment वाली feeling के साथ काम करो. Don't get emotionally attached and drain yourself 5-4 years. Be a drainer. You all are blessed with a lot of skills which you have inside you. All of us can do multiple wonders in your own fields where you have come from and where you will walk into. But then till the time you are here, give it 100%. When I am on vacation to India, I'm 100% vacation. I don't even look at my work phone. It's lying in my drawer at my home. But when I go back, 100% to the work which I'm going there. So if you're preparing, please have complete focus on what you're doing. Don't get distracted. ये राजेंद्र नगर में ना ये चटाई बिछा के खटिया बिछा के वो किताबें लगा देते हैं 150-500. No need to get into all of it. Institution alone, if you are here, student over here, that's one material is sufficient. We have something similar in corporate. You know, there are these agencies like McKinsey, Bain. They will come with global outlook. Oil khatam ho gaya, oil band ho gaya. Arey, we have oil supply for next 50 years in our refineries. 50 years, we are oil rich. I mean, Saudi Aramco has a lot of oil for next 50 years. It's not going to get over. But then these reports will come up. Don't get bogged down by, again, of these materials, plethora of material which lies outside into it. A lot of people have vested interest to promote something. As student, you need to put a filter in your eyes and then see which is genuinely beneficial for you and which is just a propaganda to promote commercial vested interest. So ये चीज़ें बहुत ज़रूरी हैं. हमने UPSC में ही सीखी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे ढेर सारा स्कैवेंजर बन के कचरा उठा के घर में भर लिया, पूरा पीली फाइलें. And now in corporate, we know that this is not going to work. Pick up just one report, focus on it and do it. So ये कुछ skills हैं जो UPSC के दौरान हमने सीखी. And I think my corporate career is very small. It's just 5 years. I gave my last attempt in 2019, which I could not qualify again, and then had to make my way out to different things. So, but then still, don't worry about what lies beyond UPSC or into it. वही मैंने बोला, बहुत चीज़ें हैं, but till the time you are here, just focus into it, keep your fear aside, and जो भी आप पढ़ रहे हैं ना, all of this will be used somewhere. It will be used somewhere. Be assured about it. तो इतना ही था about UPSC prep. They are the best guides. I'm not the one who is the best guide. I can definitely tell you what did not work. They can tell you what will work. I can tell you what did not work. And what did not work was collecting of material. सुबह मेरा दोस्त होता था, वो बोरी लेकर आता था कहीं से और उसमें मटेरियल भर के बोलते थे आज मैं इसका मैं कोचिंग का लाया, ये तो सिलेक्शन हो जाएगा इससे, और कुछ नहीं होता है उससे. He would not even open it. So, and those who just stick to one material, revise it multiple 100 times, 200 times, were the ones who qualified हमारे सामने. और हम जो ये old NCERT, new NCERT, ये कोई कह रहा है DD बसु पढ़ो, RD बसु पढ़ो, RD ये पढ़ो, लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ो, वो पढ़ो, पढ़ के हमें नए वर्जन में कर लो, किसी सर की फलानी वो आ गई है. नॉट रिक्वायर्ड. हमने करके देखा, इट डिड नॉट वर्क. बट द वंस हु स्टुक टू जस्ट वन मोड ऑफ प्रिपरेशन, and as I also said previously, that have a filter in front of your eyes. A lot of toppers also will come up and then promote and propagate some of the things. ये भी truth नहीं है. My own friend who qualified IAS went to 6 different coaching, spoke about 10 different things. मैंने बोला तो झूठ क्यों बोल रहा है उनको, तूने ये पढ़ा भी नहीं था. मेरे को पता you were कहते यार वो एक इंटरेस्ट था, बोलना था, ये था, वो था. So believe on your professors, your mentors, teachers. The program is structured very well. The best part of the program is, unfortunately, मेरा तो नहीं बन जाता सर आज. The best part of the program is it will not let you have the fatigue. You know, the program is a 1 year long, the preparation is, the exam is 1 year long cycle from notification date to release of issue. इतना लंबा cycle होता है. I think this program is very interactive in nature. It's not a monologue, जैसे मैं कर रहा हूँ, it's a monologue right now, one person talking, you listening. So it's not a monologue. The program has, I would say plugs in form of giving you feedback, sitting with your mentors, finding your vision and everything. And it's a great program which has been, structured. It will help you to reach somewhere. At least you will see some improvement from where you are to where it requires to go. So thank you for patiently listening. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Or questions, Gana, I'll tell you one more thing. I was not a geography student. I did BBA from a private university, and then so मैं पीछे बैठ के आगे बैठ के ना, when शब्बीर सर इस से geography में पढ़ा रहे हैं, टेक्टोनिक प्लेट्स की मूवमेंट हो गया, पैंजिया ये वो सब हो गया, या ओशनोग्राफी क्लास थी, तो मुझे ना ये एयर मासेस की मूवमेंट समझ में नहीं आती थी. सो आई वॉज क्वाइट. एंड देन आफ्टर द क्लास इतने सारे बच्चे थे, शब्बीर सर के 5 मिनट मिलना ही बहुत मुश्किल हो पाता था. आई वेंट टू हिम एंड आई आस्क्ड हिम. मैं बोलते थे तुमने क्लास में क्यों नहीं पूछा, व्हेन आई गिव यू द अपॉर्चुनिटी व्हाई डिड नॉट आस्क. तो मैंने बोला सर मैं पूछता, लोगों को सबको समझ में आ रहा था, तो लोग हंसते मेरे ऊपर. And Shabir sir gave me a very, strong mantra which I follow in corporate. Look, if you ask a question, okay, and if people laugh on your question, you will be a fool for this class, or for this moment, or for this lecture. But if you don't ask, you will be a fool all your life. Right? I do the same in corporate. If I don't understand in a board meeting or I would immediately ask, I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you please emphasize more on this? Trust me, this will help you to have a more fine and better understanding. So don't be a fool. Don't think, the person probably sitting next to you, you wouldn't even see him after 5 years or 1 year or 1 day. So have that thing in yourself. Develop a personality. When you walk around in the market or when you walk around on the streets, carry yourself in a composed manner. It should be a reflection of who you are. No, don't do this, don't walk around into this. IAS ही बनोगे ना, अगर ऐसे थलथले बन करके किसी से हाथ मिलाओगे जा करके ना, तो सामने वाला बंदा बोलेगा इसको ऊपर मिनिस्ट्री में अगर आप डीएम सीएम बन गए, एक रॉब होता है. अगर आप सेक्रेटरी बन गए, यू आर डीलिंग विथ फॉरेनर्स, योर काउंटर पार्ट फ्रॉम डिफरेंट कंट्रीज. और आप वहाँ पे अगर ढीले ढक्कड़ बने हो तो आपने क्या इमेज बनाई है, प्रेजेंट करी है. I very often have good interaction with my ambassador in Riyadh. So हमारे ambassador हैं सऊदी अरेबिया के, वो रियाद में पहले नहीं था कोई, अभी recently appoint हुए. I often go and I see him and I meet him, and when I told him that sir I was an aspirant myself, वो फिर पुरानी बातें शुरू हो गई. अच्छा राजेंद्र नगर में वो चीज़ है क्या अभी भी? मैंने कहा सर पहले तो थी, अब तो पता नहीं क्या है उसका सीन है. And when I look at his personality, look what a great personality, in terms of talking, interaction and all. All of this starts from here. It's not a 5-day or a 10-day का refresher course or वैसा. All of this will start from your preparation days itself. तो ये सब चीज़ें रखना है. Questions please ask, don't hesitate. In life or in UPSC preparation, ये मत सोचो सामने वाला क्या सोचेगा या लोग हंसेंगे. Don't be a fool for all your life. So with these words, thank you everyone for listening. And again, any questions? Thank you for having me over here also. Thank you, Dev, for inviting.
Thank you.
And that's it from my side. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, you have a question.
I did not convince. I had no options. Let me tell you, I will not tell you rosy, painty stories. When I disqualified, the more successful or achiever you have been in the past, the more heavier is to carry the baggage. I was preparing, घर वाले को बात बता दो कि तुम सिविल्स की तैयारी कर रहे हो, वो तो अगले साल देखना ये कहीं के IAS बनेंगे, DM नवाबगंज के DM लखनऊ होंगे, ये वो इस तरीके से बातें फैल जाती है, तो आप मुंह छुपा के निकलते हो. So it was not easier for me, let me tell you, and it will not be easier. Even IAS बनने के बाद भी easier नहीं होगा. IAS बनने के बाद में या फिर सिविल सर्वेंट बनने के बाद में your problem will complicate 10,000 times. It's a 24/7 job. I have seen my friends doing it. कोविड आज भी मेरा क्या, आई विल गो होम 9 o'clock ऑफिस, 5 o'clock लैपटॉप शट डाउन, स्लीप. वीकेंड्स आई विल नॉट टच, बट आई हैव सीन हिम वर्किंग 24/7. ही वर्क्स हार्ड, हिज फ्रेंड्स एंड फैमिली एंजॉयस. सो द ट्रांजिशन वॉज दैट आई कुड नॉट क्वालिफाई, देन आई अपीयर्ड इन इंटरव्यूज. I was not getting jobs as well, honestly the truth is. But then somehow I started from some point of time. I started from, you start small, you grow big. So I started from a point wherein it was very humiliating for me also, that 3 years ago if I would have started, I would have been here. But I started from that point. But all these years of grinding which happened in Rajendra Nagar, it gave me a jump that I am far, far, far more ahead than what my batchmates started, what the ones who went to IAMs, and the ones, they are still at least 10 steps below me right now. If I look at my career progression, they are 10 levels below me. When I started, they grew 3 levels, but right now they are 10-15 levels below me. So I took a graceful exit. I went to Shabir sir and I left him a very emotional message. I still have it in my mail. I said, sir, I thank you for your guidance, but I believe that this is not working out. And you also, or Shabir sir, this is the hallmark of a great professor or a teacher or a mentor, that he would not paint rosy pictures. He will give a practical advice. He was the one who motivated me that if this is not working out, look for other avenues. No shame in accepting that you could not. In fact, hallmark of a taller personality, to swallow your pride and ego and walk up to a person and say, we could not qualify. Now, and that alone has helped me to excel in my corporate career so far. In terms of, if you look at I started the job which was less than 20,000 3-4 years ago, 2019, and right now the money wise I'm not worried at all. I don't have to look into my account, so that has alone taken care of everything because I give my 100%. If I would have given my 100% into UPSC में आधे दिन तो यही सोचते थे कि ये क्लास में सीट पीछे ना मिल जाए, इसके नोट्स पूरे हो जाएं, और अगर ये नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा, because I was not focusing. तो था problem. But now 3 year, 4 year, life should be seen in a 5 year, or not in a 3 or a 5 year plan, but a 20 year, 30 year plan. तो उसमें अगर शुरू के 3-4 साल कहीं जाते भी हैं, जब यूपीएससी छोड़े थे तो लग रहा था कि हमें एमआईटी में भी एडमिशन ना मिले एमबीए का, बट 5 ईयर डाउन द लाइन अब एम्बिशन हार्वर्ड में है. एटलीस्ट आई हैव अ कैंडिडेट विच कैन गेट मी टू हार्वर्ड और वॉटन और इंस्टीट्यूट और लंडन बिजनेस स्कूल, द टॉप B schools of the world, and then work into organizations like United Nations or any other organizations, which again the aspirations are over there. So tha problem, but we sailed through it. I hope I could answer your question.
Any other questions?
Any other question if you have, please go ahead. फेलियर के पीछे बताया ना, नॉट लिसनिंग टू माई मेंटर्स. नॉट लिसनिंग टू माई मेंटर्स. एक ही चीज़ के लिए 5 कोचिंग कर ली हैं. फोकस्ड रहना ना एग्ज़ाम के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है. वही फोकस नहीं कर पाए, 5 कोचिंग्स कर रहे हैं, 5 चीज़ें सुन रहे हैं. अगर शबीर सर ने नीतू सिंह मैम के पास चले जाते हैं, इनके पास चले जाते हैं, गाइडेंस IAS चले जाते हैं, वहाँ का ये कर लेते हैं, नहीं ज़रूरत है उन चीज़ों की. जो हमारे साथ के क्वालिफाई कर गए उन्होंने किया ही नहीं. हम जा रहे थे करा के, वो बोलते थे भाई कोई ज़रूरत नहीं, बट वी डिड नॉट पे अटेंशन. सो नाउ आई एम टेलिंग यू कि हम नहीं कर पाए बिकॉज वी वर फोकसिंग इनटू अदर थिंग्स. अगर आप जस्ट फोकस ऑन वन पॉइंट एट अ टाइम. वो एक हिंदी में एक वो कहावत है, एक ही साधे सब सधे और सब साधे सब जाए. राइट, फोकस ऑन जस्ट वन थिंग एट अ टाइम. कॉर्पोरेट हो या गवर्नमेंट हो या ये हो वो कहीं पर भी हो. We did not qualify because we did not be focused on multiple points at a point.
There is a question: how to deal with surrounding pressure and aspirations?
Okay, so Aniket, the answer to that question about how to deal with surrounding pressure and aspiration is get into a shell. Right? Get into a shell. हल्ला उल्ला मचाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, चुपचाप उसमें काम करते रहना है. एंड जो ये प्रेशर और एस्पिरेशंस का है ना, ये वर्ड प्रेशर है ना, ये प्रेशर कुकर की तरह होता है. यू हैव टू बेयर सम प्रेशर. ये प्रिपरेशन ही आपको वो प्रेशर हैंडल करना सीखे. डोंट सी प्रेशर एज अ नेगेटिव, एज अ नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन. द प्रेशर प्रोवाइड्स यू द रूम टू पुश फॉर योर लिमिट्स. अब शबीर सर ने एक प्रेशर डाला था हमारे बैच के ऊपर, हम B2 बैच में थे. ही सेड डे आफ्टर टुमारो ऑल ऑफ यू बुकलेट के अंदर में सारे सिनॉप्सिस करके देने हैं. ना रात भर जाग करके किसी ने किसी स्क्रैच वैच करके, कुछ लोगों ने आधे रास्ते में छोड़ दिया, बोला यार ये तो नहीं हो पाएगा, कोई फ़ायदा नहीं करने का. मेरे जैसे 2-3 लड़के थे, लगे रहे और सुबह तक हम लोगों ने पूरी 6, 7, 8, 9 और 10 की NCERT 10-15 पेजों में कंपाइल करके हमने सबमिट कर दी. What was the whole idea of putting the pressure? Then Sabir sir told, if you have something, a mains exam, wherein you have to write 2 paper GS paper in time, because you have now written everything so much, ये आपको invariably prepare कर दिया उस चीज़ के लिए. ये प्रेशर होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है लाइफ में, पर्सनल लेवल पे भी और उस पर भी. सो इसको नेगेटिवली मत सोचो. टू मच प्रेशर तो लेना भी नहीं चाहिए. वैसे भी प्रेशर का एग्जांपल देता हूँ. when Barack Obama was running for second term of his presidency, and CNN asked him a question that don't you feel pressure? I mean, what if you lose? And he said, if I start, I may lose, but if I don't start, I've already lost. Right? So similar way, if you start the pressure, if you bear the pressure and start, there is a probability to reach there. But if you give up on pressure कि यार ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर है, मैं नहीं कर पाऊँगा, you are already out of the race. Don't think you will get another chance. You are already out of the race. तो ऐसे आपको प्रेशर हैंडल करना है. Let pressure come in small amount and bits, and you should be the one who should be driving it. डोंट लेट एक्सटर्नल पीपल ड्राइव यू. कोई अगर पेरेंट फैमिली से हो रहा है, यही तो दिस इज द होलिस्टिक पर्सनैलिटी विच दिस प्रोग्राम इज टॉकिंग अबाउट, राइट? दैट हाउ वेल यू आंसर. कोई हमारे ऊपर प्रेशर डालता है, फाइनेंस कंट्रोलर और ग्रुप फाइनेंस ऑफिसर इज आस्किंग फॉर P&L ऑफ लास्ट 6 months. You will get it. There's a time limit. It will take 6 weeks for me. If you want further, I can take 4 people. Give me more resources, maybe 2 weeks. That's how I handle pressure. So you don't have to succumb to pressure. Learn how to divert the pressures. क्या आपको लगता है सिविल सर्विसेज में प्रेशर हैंडल करने का नहीं है? मिनिस्टर विजिट हैपनिंग और a health program or something other wing, ये सब करना. These pressures will come everywhere. तो ये आपको ना लर्न करना पड़ेगा how to divert pressure into it. So I hope I could answer your question. If there is any other question, you are most welcome to ask me.
I think we'll have to call you again.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of questions here. And we had Sunny for like 15 minutes, but he gladly took, what, 25?
Perhaps, yes.
Questions. So
Yeah.
let's give him a great
Thank you.
round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And really appreciate you joining us today and
Right.
talking through. But he'll be available.
I'm flying tomorrow,
Okay.
but on email I would be available. I also have a job to protect a family to support, so I'll fly tomorrow. And but still, I do visit India once in a while. At least once in a quarter, I make an attempt to visit. Should you have any questions, you can always reach out to them. They can redirect it to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer and support
Take 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
So we'll
Thank
take
you.
2 minutes to wind up. Just
Yeah.
I think we are at the end of our discussion. Thank you. End of our discussion, but I want to make sure that we just summarize, right, before we leave. And Sunny, thank you for your insights. Really appreciate it. It just bolsters everything that we were saying. So, I think you should spend your time. We gave you an approach, right? We gave you some activities as a way to inculcate some qualities, right? And doing this will give you a different way to approach the questions. So as you answer those questions, you have to think about these newer approaches. So I would say do 3 things, right? Remember 3 things. Go today and do your 16 personalities. There is an amazing amount of learning that will come out of that. And map that with these 4 activities. The next thing you should do is these 4 activities. We'll share that with you on Telegram, these activity pages. And make sure you start doing them one by one. Y layer, your U layer, your V layer, A layer, your state, your community, how do you care, what's your vision statement, approach का हमने जो 5 dimensions बताए, I think it's very critical to complete it and get it done, because this thing will evolve over a period of time. आप आज 2 question का answer कर पाओगे, कल 4 का करोगे, परसों 5 का करोगे, and that's how it's going to develop. There's no kind of silver bullet, there is no switch, there is no magic potion, right? It will take time. And like Sunny said, be bold, don't be afraid, right? Not everybody will make it, but this thing is absolutely, this process is going to get you to your 2.0 version, right? You'll be yourself version 2.0 when you go, right? When you get ready, because you would have done the grind actually helps to get that build up to your personality. So definitely, absolutely be bold. And last thing I loved is Barack Obama example, turn up, right? You have turned up. Turning up is 50% of the work. And then that makes that, then you have to give it your 100%. So don't worry about hectic schedules. Think about how can I make it simpler, right? That's how you deal with complexity. There is complexity. Where is the complexity coming from? How can I make it more simple? And our mentors are there, Nitish and team, and they can guide you through. We'll be doing more such Yuva workshops going forward, but they'll be deeper. Today was an overview across all these layers. In following workshops, we'll get you different, we'll talk layer by layer, how do you develop it, and hopefully this gives you some sort of quantifiable way to determine this X factor, right? Oh, इसके पास है, मेरे पास नहीं है, right? क्या है इसके पास जो मेरे पास नहीं? सफ़ेद shirt. So, hopefully this gives you some way to think, because क्या होगा when we have a blank sheet of paper, we can't think. But then a simple categorization, a listing, putting pen to paper, इसको कहते हैं. A line in the sand, right? When you don't have anything to go by, how to quantify something, you draw a box. So Yuva is our box, is breaking down the unknowns into some level of making yourself familiar. तो आप उसको approach कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? Thank you very much, and as usual, be mission oriented. What's your laksh? What's your objective? And let's go, make it happen. Thank you guys. Online, thank you very much. Thank you a lot.